Hey guys, my name is Daisy, Daisy Coffee, and I'm from Perth, Western Australia. I have been traveling for the last 4 years, solo traveling on and off, and I just spent 10 months in Latin America. And whilst I was there, I did learn a little bit of Spanish, but only up to a very basic level. So if people spoke very slowly and simply, I could often understand what they were saying, but in no way could I respond or have a proper conversation or communicate with them. And for someone that really loves to talk to people and really loves to listen to stories and learn about culture and, really immerse myself in a country, I found this really frustrating because, I was constantly having to get out Google Translate and it kind of ruined the moment. And I just really couldn't bond with the locals, which I love to do when I visit a new country. And so I am returning back to Latin America, specifically South America, in the new year. And I set myself a goal that I was going to improve my Spanish so that I could speak and hold a natural conversation with the people that I meet. And so previously, I didn't really put in a huge amount of effort into my Spanish, to be honest. I'd actually say I put in no effort. It wasn't until I arrived in Mexico that I realized the importance of being able to speak the language when you're in a place. I think it just completely changes your experience. So previously, I think I was doing little things like Duolingo, which only really helps you learn manzana or biblioteca or el parque. Doesn't help you really string together a sentence and put together words. I found, I really struggled to put any form of sentence together. So as I said, when I was traveling around Latin America, I did learn a little bit of Spanish, but I was only able to speak in the present tense, yo como, yo hablo. Even if I was talking about the past, I would be speaking in the present. And although people, were very good at trying to understand what I was saying, I'm sure it was very confusing for them at times. And so I think the best thing that has come from BaseLang for me at this point in my Spanish is being able to communicate and speak in the past tense as well, because there are so many different types of past tenses, which being an English teacher, I'm aware of in English, but obviously they just come naturally to me. And I never realized how difficult it is to actually learn all the past tenses when it's not your native language. And the beauty of BaseLang is that it actually allows you, because it's conversational as well, and you're speaking directly face to face with the teacher, you really, really get to practice it as if you're in the country of the language. And that's what I love most about BaseLang. So it's very important, I think, to be able to speak in the past tense. If I want to say, I went to the park yesterday, fui al parque ayer, instead of just saying, I go to the park, because when did you go to the park? Or comí carne para la cena, I ate meat for dinner yesterday, ayer, we can add. Whereas if you just say I eat meat for dinner, when? And that's how I was talking before. I was talking, always in the present. And I am so happy that I can finally start to add in a bit of past conversational speaking. And, not just in the preterite, but I've been learning the imperfect. I can speak about when I was young, cuando era niña. There's a lot of things that I've learnt, and a lot of ways I can now speak. It changes the entire dynamic of a conversation when you can speak in more than one tense. And, if you're talking in past, I can speak in, I think 4 out of however many different past tenses there are. So I think the main thing that I've gained, from signing up for BaseLang is that I'm a lot more confident. So whereas when I first started having lessons with teachers, I was un poco nerviosa. I was a bit nervous. You have that fear of not wanting to make a mistake, whereas you need to completely remove that fear when you're learning a new language. And so I think going back to Latin America in January, I will be kind of fearless. I'm just going to give it a go. If it's wrong, I can be corrected. And if it's right, then fabulous. Whereas before, I was always really nervous about making a mistake. When I was traveling around, I wouldn't say things, or I'd double check them on Google Translate before I'd say it, just because I was worried that what I would say would be wrong, which is not the correct way to learn. So I think that's what BaseLang has done for me.
The thing I love most about BaseLang, and this is quite personal because of the life that I live, but the thing I love most is its flexibility. So being a full-time traveler, I don't often know what I'm doing the next day. I might think that I'm available in the morning to do a lesson, and then something comes up and I'm not. So the beauty of BaseLang is that you could literally sign up for a class 3 minutes before the class, because they're every half hour, so I can log on and say, oh, there's teachers available, and there are always teachers available, even if it's 3 minutes before a class. It's amazing. And I can say, I fancy a lesson now, I'm gonna jump online, and it's as easy as that. Vice versa, if you sign up for a lesson and maybe you are a bit organized, which rarely happens for me, but sometimes it does. So maybe I sign up for a lesson the night before, and then something comes up in the morning, or someone says, hey Days, let's go climb a volcano. I'm like, yeah, oh, I have a Spanish lesson. I can't. Nope, that's fine. You can just cancel it, because I think BaseLang understands that, things come up in life. And if you're on BaseLang, you're there for a reason, you want to learn, and so they don't penalize you for cancelling a lesson at last minute, and I think that's really, really great. And so for me, rambling, but for me, the flexibility of BaseLang is what I love most. So, as I've mentioned, I will be returning back to Latin America in literally a few weeks. It's going to completely change my experience in these countries. To be able to communicate properly, understand pretty much everything, be able to share laughs and dinner and stories and memories and just the important things with people that I meet. I'm just so excited for that. And I think that's what I was lacking in my last trip. Whereas now I'm at a level where my teachers only speak to me in Spanish, and I can understand everything that they say. Everything, unless it's like some really weird word that I've never heard of. But I know what they're saying, and on the whole, I can respond. I'm just really excited for my next adventure and the fact that I'll be able to speak Spanish. I would 100% recommend BaseLang to anyone that is looking to learn Spanish. And in fact, I have actually referred 3 friends to BaseLang who all love it just as much as I do, and it has really helped them improve their Spanish. I just want to say muchas gracias, BaseLang. You have helped me extremely, and I'm so excited for my next adventure now that I can communicate and speak in Espanol.